Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Gopi Nair on the line, and he's founder and operator of Tikkaway. Gopi, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Adam.
Oh man, Gopi. So I'll tell you right now, when we are warming up for this in our last conversations, preparing for this interview, I'm like, oh man, Gopi's going to get me hungry again. He's going to start talking about takeaway. He's going to be talking about all these Indian flavors and this goodness and food is medicine. Then I'm going to be hungry for the rest of the day. So we scheduled this one later in the day intentionally. So I'm excited for my audience to get a feel and a flavor for what you're doing over at Tikkaway. But just to get us started, we'll start this episode like we start them all with our Mission Matters Minute. So Gopi, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. Gopi, what mission matters to you?
Well, Adam, I'm a restaurateur, and I've been doing this all my adult life. I went to culinary school, and all I know deep connect is food and how I connect with people. So for me, my mission and my calling is to bring the fabulous, the healthy, the nutritious fare that we have with Indian cuisine, the length and breadth of it, to mainstream America.
Yeah.
My mission is to make it so easy for anybody out there who is on the streets, just walking to his favorite joint for a quick bite or a lunch or dinner, step into takeaway and intuitively be able to order, intuitively be able to understand what we're doing, and not wait for an expert or a brown person to tell as to what to have or what not to have. So taking the middleman off, taking the expert off, I would want um, a diner to walk in, not be intimidated by the foreign mysterious cuisine,
Yeah.
Indian cuisine, and be able to have a wholesome, healthy, nourishing meal.
That's awesome, and love bringing mission bread entrepreneurs on the show, and really having them share why they do what they do, like what motivates them, what gets them going in their industry, and how they're contributing to the world and society. So awesome, and I want to go further into takeaway, but let's start a little bit more with your background. So you mentioned that you went to culinary school. I mean, give us a little bit of a feel for how you started down this path.
Um, I was very fortunate, Adam, to have realized very early in my life, right around the high school time, that I did
Mm.
not want to be an engineer or a doctor.
Yeah.
Typically, an Indian household, a boy is supposed to be an engineer or a doctor. And I had decided long, long back, then I don't want to be either of these. And I like the whole idea of
Mhm.
being of service.
Mhm.
And um, researching on the options of a service career,
Mhm.
and me loving food, me loving people, it just connecting the dots and trying just got the right industry in.
Mm.
So I was lucky enough that my dad allowed me to go to culinary school.
Yeah.
He allowed me to explore and be and fail if I have to, and then see what my choices lead me to.
Mhm.
So I went to culinary school out of my high school, and no looking back. I've stuck to this industry. I've stuck to these lines, serving food, opening restaurants, entertaining and feeding
Yeah.
and connecting with food.
Yeah. Let's talk for a moment to those, let's just call it the younger generation maybe that are just getting started and they're thinking about maybe a career in the hospitality industry, specifically restaurants, your business. Like what kind of things would you tell them in the ever-changing marketplace? Because just so much is shifting, like with the apps, with these like pop-up restaurants, there's just so much to do in the industry in general, and so many people like consuming food and ordering in different manners. Like what would you tell to that newbie that doesn't necessarily have their concept, they're not as far along in the world as you are with your business? What would you tell them?
Um, First things first would be that it's just not food. The moment you get into a restaurant
Mhm.
or a business of restaurant,
Yeah.
food food is just one part of it. The entire picture
Mhm.
has many more components, and expertise and knowledge,
Mhm.
and the fact that you don't know something in it is extremely important for you
Mhm.
to survive and succeed. So having the knowledge of food, the cuisine, is
Yeah.
primary, fundamental, foundation. But everything else, there's so many more aspects of it,
Mhm.
is an essential for you to know to be in the business.
Yeah.
And
No,
of course, if
I
anyone thinks that it's an easy walk in the park, stand corrected. No, it's not. It
yeah.
means a lot of long hours, and you really have to love it, because if you don't, you'll burn out very soon.
Mhm.
And if you, and just like any other industry, just like any other career, if you do not want to burn out soon,
Yeah.
you pick something that really lights you up all the time, so that
Mm.
you don't burn out but keep enlightened.
That's awesome. And so I want to let's switch it up a bit. So let's go further into this concept of this, and I've heard you talk on this more than once, and this idea of food is medicine. So tell us a little bit more about that, and just maybe because some of the people watching this, they haven't heard of this concept in terms of like how it relates to Indian food, how it relates to quality fresh fare. Like tell us more about that.
Oh goodness, I can go on and on about this. um, Adam, the medicine that we have, be
Mhm.
any kind of medicine, be it the allopathy, the modern medicine, or the far eastern philosophy of medicine, you would see that small quantities of certain herbs or certain, now we
Mhm.
have chemicals, is what is medicine. And
Yeah.
what that does is basically changes your inner being, and
Mhm.
chemical changes in you, or basically gets your metabolism better, gets your digestion better, takes care of
Mhm.
your internal systems. So it
Yeah.
essentially is what you put in your body. If what you put in your body is who you are, who you internally become, then it's imperative that you are very cognizant of
Mm.
knowing what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
And that's essentially food. So if you eat right,
Mhm.
if you pick right, and you eat the right quantity of quality food, you're
Yeah.
actually taking care of your health, period. You're saving the trouble of going to the doctors if you just take care of your body by
Mhm.
having the cheapest way. Having eating right food in the right time is, I
Yeah.
think, the cheapest way to stay healthy. So it's garbage in, garbage out. You are
Mhm.
what you put in your body.
Mm. And so now taking that a step further and thinking about like the actual ingredients and specifically kind of as they relate to Indian food and tikkaway. I mean, what are some of those ingredients and some of those things that, as we're kind of introducing these flavors to mainstream, that are in the mix, so to speak?
The Indian cuisine has so many complicated layers on it. It's
Mm.
not the easiest of cuisine to get into. It's not the easiest cuisine to kind of cook, and you just can't
Mhm.
open your charbroil grill and then put in a piece of meat and then get the food out.
Yeah.
For we use tons and many spices. Um, the names like turmeric and the
Yeah.
cumins and the black peppers have always been a part of the folklore. And in fact, the ancient spice route, which is all about the peppers and the spices coming out of Indian
Mm.
subcontinent to the world. And so Indian cuisine essentially uses all these um, now common spices,
Hmm.
which grew abundantly in its land, into cooking, into adding flavors, into
Hmm.
adding into the food in ways that either adds to the value, or takes care of certain sinfulness in the cuisine, so that even if you're eating some sinful food, the spices in it in certain proportion and ratio would chip it away, you see,
Yeah.
and kind of make it a better, wholesome food for you to consume. So when we use those exact same spices in certain ratios,
Yeah.
in quantities, the food becomes heaven. Tons of flavor. Yeah, I just can't. I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot explain. I can't put in words what these all these. We have not done enough in the past to really bring out all the qualities of Indian cuisine. Everything that
Yeah.
goes into it, and that makes the food so divine.
And so switching gears a bit, and now it's about time for me to get hungry. So let's get into takeaway and the concept. Like how'd you come up with it?
Honestly, it was just so simple. I
Mm.
uh, being in the restaurant industry, I've always been associated with Indian restaurants, fine dining
Mhm.
restaurants, the typical Indian fare,
Yeah.
where someone comes in and looks at the menu and orders, and then the average check goes, bumps up really really high.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago, we were planning our family, and
Mhm.
I would say my son was just a newbie, and I suddenly realized that I was looking at the labels, the ingredients,
Mm.
and the calorie values of everything that I was buying for the household.
Yeah.
And I also realized that I wasn't eating my own restaurant food every day.
Oh.
And so that got me thinking, as the Indian food served in restaurants typically
Mhm.
is not a daily affair. You go in
Yeah.
and indulge, you go in and celebrate, and you go in once a month maybe, or twice a month maybe.
Yeah.
You don't bring Indian cuisine into your weekly daily routine.
Mhm.
It's a celebration, it's indulgence kind of stuff. So for me to bring the Indian food as I knew it,
Yeah.
knowing what I knew, serving and making sure that the customers get value of every
Yeah.
visit that they get. It was just the common sense of putting the fine dining concept and break
Mhm.
it down and make it simple, easy, fast, quality, value on a
Yeah.
daily basis. Voila, the concept takeaway was born. And now you can say, um, the fast casual Indian concept is a la Chipotle, a la Subway, you name
Yeah.
any format that exists, and it just fits in the bill.
Mhm. And so just to go a level deeper there for those that aren't restaurateurs or restaurant in the industry. So when you think about something like, a Chipotle, right? So that's your fast casual type of restaurant. So you're as opposed to sitting down for a long, big, extravagant, like multi-course, like Mexican meal where you're probably, like you said, it's going to be an indulgence or something where you're not going to be able to like do too much after that. Like this is more like something that you could eat every day. So takeaway is that, am I understanding that right? I don't want to put words in your mouth there, but I want to kind of draw out that comparison a little bit more.
Exactly. So, like I mentioned, Indian food, like I knew before, was once a
Yeah.
month, twice a month story for average American.
Yeah.
Indians would eat more often, but they would not come to an Indian restaurant to eat Indian food because they eat that at home.
Yeah.
But once you're in the work environment, you're working, you're in an office setup, and you're
Mhm.
going down the building to grab a
Yeah.
salad, grab a lunch, grab a sandwich. Indian cuisine didn't fit the daily bill. It'll be okay.
Mhm.
I'll do a salad today. I'll do a sandwich tomorrow. I'll do Chipotle. Any of those,
Mhm.
or sushi maybe. But
Yeah.
Indian didn't fit in. If at all it did, it would be on a Friday afternoon where you have half a day. You're going home early because you get
Yeah.
very full after eating Indian food. But takeaway has changed that paradigm. I
Mm.
see people coming thrice a week. In fact, sometimes 4 times a week,
Yeah.
and that doesn't that I'm not saying it's only Indians. I'm saying
Yeah.
people of any demographics, because they come to takeaway for good value food. It
Mhm.
just happens to be Indian.
Tell me about some of the dishes.
It's pretty simple in a way to, if I put it, what I do is rice bowls,
Mhm.
wraps, and salads.
Yeah.
And the rice bowl is a plethora of combination. It's like we
Mhm.
have a base of basmati rice or brown rice or
Mhm.
salad as a base, and then I
Mhm.
have certain proteins. Typically,
Mhm.
Indians don't do all kind of protein. In
Yeah.
at takeaway, I have now introduced beef. We have chicken, we have chickpeas, paneer, the Indian cheese, and some vegetables options, tofu,
Yeah.
for example, also. Um, and then the sauces, which is what makes takeaway the Indian story. Everything else is
Mm.
very generic, very neutral, and very easy to understand for anybody. But what makes it really specialized is this are the sauces, the Indian classic sauces, and
Mhm.
you pour the sauce on top, and that makes it a very colorful meal. And I have tons of vegetables, sautéed vegetables and fresh vegetable offering to make it a really colorful 5 color meal, like your
Mm.
doctor suggested.
So we covered, some of the history behind why you created Takeaway, how your background. We also covered, your concept of really bringing Indian food to the to mainstream America, right? And obviously, we wanted to, as the business grows, and wishing you continued success. We wanted to be like, somebody's talking about a Chipotle, they think Mexican food. If they think Takeaway, to go grab, some Indian food quickly. That's the goal there. What are your plans for just like continuing to run the business, expansion, grow the brand? Like, give us a feel for just your vision overall for Takeaway.
Um, Honestly, if in my head, I
Hmm.
have 1,000 stores,
Yeah.
but 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 they have not manifested yet.
Mm.
And I would continue to keep doing this, but I would take one step at a time.
Yeah.
Thanks to COVID, we kind of shortened, we kind of really shrunk our footprint.
Hmm.
But the idea is to continue to do this, continue to persevere, continue to do whatever it takes to kind of be there and
Yeah.
and make it work. And throughout the COVID, we have seen tough times. It was
Hmm.
really everything kind of was was up topsy turvy,
Yeah.
to say it. But we survived. We did pretty okay, and the idea is to continue to do what I'm doing. And if the world universe conspires and makes more of a franchising story, more of
Mhm.
multiple unit story, that's where I see it going.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would take one step at a time
Hmm.
and strengthen take one. Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, it's a great story. Love bringing stories like this to my audience and really just diving into that entrepreneurial journey, right? It's not easy to start any business, restaurant included, doesn't matter what you're doing. And when we think about like having an idea, taking it from your head, bringing it to market, gaining customers, showing up day in and day out. I mean, just the restaurant industry in general is not easy. Not saying any business is easy, right? But the restaurant industry is physical, right? You're there, you're serving clients, you're serving customers, especially during this time of, now we're hopefully heading out of the pandemic, all those things, but everything's kind of changed. What are you seeing in your market, like geography? So where's your restaurant located? Like, give us a little bit of a feel there.
So Tikkaway exists in New Haven, Connecticut. New Haven is known for the Yale campus, the Yale
Hmm.
University, and the Yale Hospital. So we are kind of the university market story. Um,
Mm,
and we have got real good support from the Yale Hospital and University, and the students who come into Yale, they spread the word. They've done tons of marketing for us. In fact, they have
wow.
pushed us beyond New Haven, because Yalees go ahead to go on to graduate and go on to the other universities in Boston, for example, or
Mm,
New York, and we got a name out in those markets as well. And
yeah.
people do drive more than an hour sometimes on the weekends to come to Tickaway, New Haven, because of the good word of mouth that we have. Um, yeah.
Man, what a great story. I love it. And not you, I think when you're saying this, you're taking me back to some of my child, like, oh, I shouldn't say childhood, but when I was in college, thinking about like that place that I went to all the time. You just took me home, man.
No, thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I just have to say, Gopi, so really it has been a pleasure having you on the show today and getting to know more about your concept, takeaway, your vision for the future, your story as an entrepreneur, the flavors that you're bringing, and also your concept of food as medicine, which I think in this, definitely in the United States, probably other places as well. I mean, it's one of those things that we all need to kind of reconsider is what we're eating, how we're eating it. I mean, is fast food always the best choice? Probably not. I'll throw that out there. But just looking forward to it. So, if somebody's watching this and they want to learn more and they want to just follow your journey and the takeaway journey, I mean, what's the best way for them to do that, Gopi?
I would say come on down to New Haven, Connecticut, physically, because nothing like having the food
Mm,
made for you, in front of you, for you, the way you want it. But we can be reached online. Our website is at tikkaway.com. That's TIKKAWAY.com. Um, we use all those third party deliveries,
yeah,
the Uber Eats, the Grubhubs, the DoorDash, and the
yeah,
likes, to bring the food to you in the neighborhood. But and it's downtown New Haven.
mhm,
Many times people have the issues of coming to downtown and not being able to get the space to park. But weekends are pretty easy nowadays. So come on down, be my guest. Would love to serve. Would love to make sure
mhm.
that you get the best experience for the time you're here, and change the way you think about Indian food.
Awesome. Final question, Gopi. So I know you're a busy guy. What's next? I mean, what's next for you? What's next for the restaurant?
Uh, to stay in business,
Yeah.
to grow in the business,
Hmm.
and keep spreading the word. Keep telling people that food is the way to
Yeah.
go if you want to think right, if you want to do
Hmm.
right. You put good things in your body. If
Yeah.
you like I say, it's garbage in, garbage out. If you nourish your body well, you would have your body helping you to do the things that you want to do. So
Mm-hmm.
the simplest way to do is be aware, be be mindful of what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
You're spending your hard-earned money when you go out to a restaurant and eat. Just be aware and be mindful that
Mm-hmm.
you are putting the right stuff inside of your body. When I created Tikkaway, my question to myself was, would I be feeding this food to my son and
Mm-hmm.
daughter daily? Am I okay if my son eats this food daily? And if the answer was no, I was not serving it.
Yeah.
And if that's the standard that I have serving food, I would only want the consumers, the customers, the guests
Mm-hmm.
also to be mindful of what they put in the body. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that takeaway is the only solution, but I say that takeaway is the best, second best option for you. First
Yeah.
best is the food,
Yeah.
homemade food. And when you're out in a restaurant, takeaway would be the second best option.
Mm. Awesome. Well, Gopi, again, awesome having you on the show today. And to the audience, we'll put all again, that's in all the websites and stuff like that in the show links. So you can just click on it and check out Tickaway. And also, if this is your first time with us, just so you know, Mission Matters is all about bringing on entrepreneurs, executives, and experts and having them share their story. Why do they do what they do? What kind of value are they bringing to the world? What gets them motivated and fired up to get up out of bed every day and go out there and make a difference? We have many more mission-based entrepreneurs coming up. And if that's the kind of content that you're into, we'd love to have you hit that subscribe button because we don't want you to miss any of those upcoming interviews. And Gopi, again, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. And I look forward to seeing Tickaway's continued and future success. So thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you for having me, and it was great having being in your show.